tell me exactly what happened?
I buried my whole family with my shotgun.
Imagine this. You are a 16-year-old boy who is up to no good in the city of Detroit. I don't know what you're doing. If it's drugs, you're stealing cars, you're stealing furnaces, gang activity, I don't know. But you are up to no good. And you observe that a white middle-aged man with a Canadian plate buys a house in your neighborhood that he starts to renovate. No big deal, you think. It takes between 6 months, maybe a little more, for people to renovate houses, especially when they're these do-it-yourselfer types. Well, it's been a little over a year now, and you notice that this man, who's supposedly Canadian, will come stay at the house, work on his house, and then he'll go barbecue in his driveway, his dinner, and other neighbors will wander down and talk to him. He's making friendships with them. He's even doing little renovation projects for them. And you're sitting there thinking, snitches end up in ditches. But that's one way to get people to snitch. You start eating with them and start doing their repairs. This guy has got to be undercover, and you're thinking he must be DEA or FBI, and he's going to get into your business. So you decide to what a 16-year-old boy's brain will do, and you start thinking of pranks. You do a series of 3 pranks on him that are pretty clever, but they don't work. He's still there, and now it's going on 2 years. So you decide you are going to put on the best performance of your life, and you call 911, and you have this whole script, and your call has the result that you wanted. SWAT showed up at the house. But here's the thing, you were right. He was undercover, but he wasn't DEA, and he wasn't FBI. He's in the film industry. He's in Detroit because he's between films, and he actually is Canadian. Who knew that they lived somewhere other than Hollywood? But he's actually Canadian. He's actually in the film industry, and he's there half because he enjoys working on houses and he likes being incognito. But the other half of the reason that he's there is he likes observing human behavior. There's so much more to this story, and I want to tell you the rest of the story because it's just shocking, and I can't believe all this happened. So I'm going to tell you who I am and what I have to do with this story. I'm going to give you the rest of the story, and guess what? I have the 911 call. So I'm going to play the video that my husband took of the house that he finally renovated. And while you're watching that house, I'm going to play for you the 911 call. I'm Monique Burns. My husband and I have been buying houses since 2007. We buy them, we renovate them. We've done 300 houses. We have never had a single one of these pranks happen to us. I match buyers with sellers of Detroit investment properties. If that's something you're interested in, you can set up a time to talk to me on Calendly if you want one of our newly renovated houses, or if you have your own portfolio in Detroit you need to sell, or you're looking to buy a portfolio, or just a one-off house, I can make that happen. And that's why this guy called me. I happen to be culturally illiterate. If you ever want to win playing Trivial Pursuit, I'm the person that you want to play with because I know pretty much nothing about famous people. And I did not know that when this man called me, he's actually really famous. I mean, the name didn't click with me, nothing. And so this man calls me and he says, okay, I've been working on my house for a few years. I have not been able to sell it. Can you find me a buyer? And I said, well, absolutely. I'm working with somebody in the Netherlands right now. My Netherlands buyers are fantastic. They love buying my houses in Detroit. I've got some repeat buyers. I would be happy to sell it to you. And he said, great. My name happens to be Dutch too. I'm like, okay, whatever. And it doesn't ring a bell to me, his name. Unfortunately, I don't get to share his name with you, but I'm going to call him Bob Jr. for the sake of this story. Wait. Pause a second. Hit that subscribe button. Every Saturday, I post a new video, and today's just a story time, but usually my videos are jam-packed with all kinds of information, and this Bob Jr. was very praiseworthy of my videos, and he said one of my best videos was the one for foreign nationals, which had a lot of great detail in it, and another great series that I have going right now is on due diligence, which is all the stuff you need to do before you buy a house in Detroit. So definitely check those out. Lots of great information. Please like and subscribe. Thanks. Bob Jr. starts telling me that he came to Detroit and all these pranks kept getting pulled on him. And it wasn't until the fourth prank was SWAT that he put it all together that they were all connected. So the first prank, pretty clever, someone, probably this kid, called animal control and said there's a violent pit bull that this man owns at this address and you need to go get it. So they came armed to the house to get his pit bull, but he didn't even have a pit bull. So that prank didn't work. That didn't scare him away, get him out of the neighborhood. The second prank was, these are kind of clever. I don't want to give any bad people good ideas. Was he put his car for rent on Marketplace for a very reasonable price. Here's this Canadian guy with his car parked out there, and all these people kept coming up to his house saying, hey man, I'd like to rent your car. He's like, my car is not for rent. So then the kid's thinking, okay, I got to get people in his backyard, not just knocking on his front door. How do I get people really disturbing him and making him feel unsafe and get him in his backyard? He puts out another ad that there's this guy that needs cement work done in his backyard and he's willing to pay a little extra. So you should go measure it and let him know. So all these cement guys show up to measure it and rip him off because he's Canadian, because that's what people do. We've seen it as investors here in Detroit that's what happens. That didn't work. It was disturbing. It didn't work. So then the kid, he calls 911 and he puts on the best show of his life. And he acts out this whole scenario to get SWAT to come to the house. And it's like a 10-15 minute phone call. It was so disturbing to me what this kid said to 911 that got the SWAT there. But talking to Bob Jr., he said, when I finally got a hold of that 911 phone call and I heard that script and I heard his acting, that is some of the worst script and the worst acting I have ever heard. And I thought, when I listened to it, I was ready for it to be really bad. But I found it greatly disturbing. So I can never go into film. I can never be an actor or anything. I mean, wait until you hear this. And he had a heck of a time trying to even get this 911 call from the city of Detroit. They pretended like they never even did the SWAT call. They're like, no, we don't have any report of this. They put him through the ringer, and he went from department to department because he found out that's public record, and he had to do a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request to get this call sent to him. And it took like 3 months before they finally sent it to him because he was concerned. Who's after him? Does he need to be afraid while he's finishing his house or not? Well, the conclusion of the story is there was a little part in the beginning, which I'm not going to play this part because it's not as interesting. But in the very beginning, the 911 operator was saying, what's your cross street? And this kid doesn't understand the term cross street, or he hadn't planned for that question. Bob Jr. could hear the kid's mother in the background. And his mother was like, tell him whatever cross street. And Bob Jr. recognized the mother because she was one of the people in the neighborhood. When she heard that he was doing favors for the neighbor, like doing construction little favors, she went over to him and she's like, well, if you're going to do all that, I want you to renovate my whole house. And he said, okay, well, I can't do that. She was mad at him ever since then. And they always had a strained relationship after that. So it might not have even been the kid thinking he was undercover DEA. It was his mother putting him up to this, which is a federal offense. And he even brought that up when he asked the police, like, well, why don't you trace the call? Because he knows exactly who it is. He's trying to help the police who aren't helping him at all. And they said, oh, that's not possible. We can't trace those calls. And Bob Jr. said to me, the reason I'm saying Bob Jr. is, turns out Bob Sr. is famous, just as famous as Bob Jr. But these are my fake names. But apparently there was some politician or somebody very public that had the same kind of SWAT team prank pulled on them, and they immediately traced the call. So that's not true, that you can't trace the call. He said, unless maybe he should have gone to the FBI instead of just the Detroit police. But what a story. So if you're interested in buying a house in Detroit, this is never going to happen to you. This is bizarre beyond belief. Don't worry about this. We have flipped 300 houses in Detroit. Nothing like this has ever happened. Let's just get into the video of the house. I'm not going to show you the front of the house. I don't want you to know which house it is exactly, but I'll give you the tour that my husband made of the house, but I will play the 911 call in it. So let's get into it. And what I really want to know is, do you agree with him that this is the worst script and the worst acting, or are you with me where it's so real sounding it kind of scares you, right? I don't know. Tell me what you think. I'm very curious, but let's get into it.
Tell me exactly what happened.
I murdered my whole family with my shotgun.
Oh, where are you at?
I'm at 9. I'm in my house. It was a mistake.
Okay, and how many people did you kill?
4.
Okay, who are they?
My little sister, my brother, and my father, my little brother.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Tyler.
What's your last name, Tyler?
Tyler Robbins.
And what's your phone number? Are you a black male, white male, Hispanic male, or other?
Black.
What are you wearing?
I have a red shirt on with blue jeans.
Small, medium, are you small, medium, or large build?
I'm a large build.
And do you have any facial hair?
Yes.
What do you have?
I was just like short, stubble, beard, bit of a mustache.
Okay, where is your family at inside the home?
They're in the living room, ma'am.
All of them?
Yeah, I dragged them all in there. I'm scared.
Okay, where are you at inside the home?
I'm inside my room.
Where's your room at? Is it on the main floor, upstairs, downstairs?
It's in the attic.
And where's the shotgun?
It's in my hands.
Okay, do you know that everybody is deceased?
Yeah, none of them are breathing.
How old is your dad?
How old is my dad?
Yes.
49.
And what's your dad's name?
I'm a junior.
Okay, what's your sister's name? And how old is your sister?
She's 16, man.
What about your brothers?
Oh, he's 8.
And how old is Isaiah?
He's 12.
Okay, so what happened, Tyler? What made you do this?
We got into a fight.
A fight about what? What were you all fighting about?
We were just arguing at me, and she called my dad, and then my dad started getting mad, and he was threatening to beat me. So
How old are you?
he called me a no good piece of shit. I'm 16.
You're 16 too?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to put the shotgun down and come downstairs?
No, ma'am.
Tyler, I want you to put the shotgun down and come downstairs, okay?
I can't do that, ma'am. I'm scared for my life. I don't know what's going to happen to me.
Okay, so I don't want you to be afraid, okay? And I don't want anybody else to get hurt. I need you to put the shotgun down and come downstairs. Is there anyone else
I'm scared
inside
of
the
what the
home?
police are going to do to me.
They're not going to
There's
hurt
no
you,
one else in
Tyler.
the house.
But I need you to listen. They're not going to harm you. I just need you to put the shotgun down. Tyler, it's going to be okay, okay? I need you to put the shotgun down, though, okay? Tyler, can you hear me?
I don't want to go to jail.
Sweetheart, they're not going to harm you, okay? I just need you to put the shotgun down and come downstairs.
I can't do that, ma'am.
Okay, I need you, listen, they're not too far from there. Please put the shotgun down. Can you do that for me, Tyler?
I think I might kill myself if I fail.
No, Tyler, don't do that. Does your mom stay at the home with you?
Yes.
Where's your mom at?
She's at work.
She's where?
She's working.
Where does she work at?
She's a hairdresser.
Where did she? So she's working today on Memorial Day.
Yes.
She had to go in on a holiday.
She has like private clients.
She has what?
She's a mobile worker. She has like bookings.
So she's not at a shop. She's just going to people's houses.
Yes, ma'am.
What's mom's name? Can you put the shotgun down, Tyler? You're gonna be fine, Tyler. Nobody's gonna hurt you, okay?
They're going to hurt me.
Nobody's gonna harm you. I just need you to put the shotgun down.
I don't want to go to jail.
You're gonna be fine, okay? Have you put the shotgun down?
I'm just gonna kill myself.
Don't do, Tyler. Don't do it. You don't have to, sweetheart. You don't have to do that.
The 911 call ends abruptly, and that's the point at which they're at the door, and Bob Jr. hears some kind of bang outside, so he goes to open his door, and he opens, there's all these red lights on his chest, and he's like, looks up, and there's all these men pointing guns at him, and they're like, "Where's your gun? Put your gun down." And he's like, "Ah." And I said, "Did you tell him you're Canadian?" That's all I'm thinking. Just say you're Canadian and you're out of it. We're not worried about our Canadian neighbors. What? But he said, he did. He said, "Look at my license plate. I'm Canadian." But they wanted to know, where is his gun and where is his family? My family's in Canada. But they insisted on coming in the house, but he just put in new carpet. So he only let two of them in to look, to make sure that there were no dead bodies in the house. The whole thing happened in 4 minutes, and they were gone. And that was it. And he did finish his house. It came out beautifully. You saw it. And as soon as I had it, it took me about a day or two, and I had my buyer all set up, and we're about to close. Everything went really smoothly. It hasn't even closed yet, but my property manager already has a renter who's probably going to be moving in right about the time that we're closing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to hear from you. If you want to buy a house in Detroit from us, just don't expect all this drama. It's not going to be that interesting if you do. It's going to be nice and smooth and just make you money. Thanks for watching.